Hello, it's Kevin here. Continuing our series of Cambridge previous papers. Number 7, we're down to test number 1. Okay, so we've done 18, 17, 16, 15, 17, so, and we're currently on Cambridge number 7. Yeah, test number 1. Working our way down to Cambridge 1. Every single Cambridge writing task 1. Academic writing task 1. Maybe I'll do the general training after this, we'll see. Anyway, now, this one, pretty straightforward. Consumer spending, the table. Percentage of national consumer expenditure by category, 2002. So, a quick disclaimer. You've seen this before, fair use, blah, blah, blah. Get rid of that, okie doke. So, now, like I keep saying, if you've been watching my previous videos and commentaries, what a lot of the respondents, what they don't get right. So they usually get the introduction correct, that's just a single sentence. Most of them usually get the overview, but what a lot of them fail to do, especially when there's, it's figures and data like this one here, is they don't logically arrange the information. Going from the largest to the smallest, grouping the categories that you can group, etc. There's usually not a logic. So we'll take a look at mine first. It's only 163 words. So the table illustrates consumer expenditure in Ireland, Italy on 3 types of items. Okay, so we can see there 5 different countries. I named them 3 different categories. Okay, what's the biggest? Food, drinks and tobacco. Lowest, leisure, education. We can see that, yeah. Food, drink, tobacco, most expenditure, leisure, education, the least. And the biggest consumer, more or less, was Turkey. You can see, with one exception there, but certainly there and there. So in general, Turkey's the largest. Like I said, in general, the biggest spender in the group. So, why not start with the highest? Makes sense, I think. I'm not going to read it all out. You can see it. But you've got 1, 32.14 per second, and so on, so on, so. Then the smallest was this. Turn to clothing and footwear. You can see I grouped those 3 countries because you've got what? 6.63, 6.51, 6.43. So that's perfectly legitimate, and they would like you to do that. Group those which can be grouped. What's the outlier? What's the biggest? What's the smallest? What can be grouped? And finally, the smallest amount of expenditure, leisure, education, less than 5% in all cases. So again, we're grouping this. Turkey the highest and Spain the lowest. Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward, yeah? We've got a good logical flow of information and data. Here, here, here. What's the biggest? What's the largest? What can we group? What can we group? What can we not? What's the outliers? So that's pretty straightforward, I think. I'll just leave it there. You can pause here so you can see it in detail. Now, what did my learners from IELTS 9 Pro, my group on Telegram, link below if you want to join, if you're not already a member. Now, I've already quickly put a couple of comments, and I'm not going to read it all out, nor change every single thing, just to give you some general ideas. So we'll start with the first one. Okay, yeah, that's good, yeah. That's good, yeah. What's the biggest? What's the smallest? Okay. And then largest of Turkey, followed by Sweden. That's almost half, all right. Clothing, so this isn't bad, but too short, 148. Now mine's only 163, but I couldn't really add anything extra to mine. But you need at least 150, I mean, look, 163 words. There's not a lot. There's not a lot else I could have added to mine, but still, 148, a little bit short. Now, expenses spent. So you spend expenses. Okay, simply amount spent or expenses, not the expenses spent by consumers. Now, spent the most on food, drink, followed by Ireland. Now, the reason I put this here is because, right, so in the overview, you're talking about what's the largest, which is food, drinks, tobacco. Yeah. Okay. But when you go into the details, you start with the smallest. But in the overview, you start with what's the biggest. Yeah. So why do you then go, oh, let's talk about the smallest? Okay, and then you've got food, drinks, which is the highest. And then you've got the middle order. So it's like, how does that make sense? And you've got this here in reverse order. So you've got the small, so Ireland with less than 29, Spain following Turkey with the highest. There doesn't seem to be any logical order here, progression. Start from the biggest, go to the smallest, start from the smallest, go to the biggest. Don't mix things up. You only confuse the reader, and you're confusing me. Now, you don't need this, the first kind of column. It's just what's the categories, all right? So, apart from that, introduction, overview, would be good. Turkey, yeah, okay. Turkey's the biggest. That's good, yeah. Garments, leisure, education. So, 213 words. That is not bad. Oh, yeah. Lowest advocates. I think that's poor word choice. They're not advocating anything, if you understand what advocates means. So, then you've got this approximately 1/8 of first column spending. You've got the exact figures and details here, right? So, you just use these. In the overview, you can say it's like half or twice or whatever, but when you're going into the details, don't approximately 1/8. So I've got to calculate this, eh? Nah. Simply tell me what it is. Now, looks like they've tried to paraphrase every single word here. Various items categorized into 3 categories, because that's what the group is. 5 different nationalities. Okay. First column that includes 3 items. What's the category? Highest percent. So the category which all countries spent the most on was food, drinks, and tobacco. The category with the least amount of expenditure in all 5 was leisure and education. Right? Constituted the least proportion of expenses of the total. Why make it overly complicated? What's this about? What column? It's what's the category? Yeah. Okay. So this should be the final one, I think. Not too bad. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, twice the amount of it. So you've got a figure here, and you said, which is almost twice the amount for Sweden, which had the minimum amount. What does that mean? You've got the figures and data. Why not use them? Then this is a bit jumbled up. So, and then you've got a summary, but you don't really actually need one because it's not an essay. You don't need to conclude anything. So, like I say, in general, introduction's good. Most you got the, 2 key or 3 main features. But then, not all of you logically group the information. Right? What's the biggest moving to the smallest, or what's the smallest moving up to the biggest? Either way. Yeah? Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. Biggest, medium, and then least. What's the biggest spender? What's the smallest? What can you group? Yeah? What can you group? And that's it. 163 words. So, hope that helps. Links below for my profile and for the group link. I'll post a new task, Cam 7 test number 2. So, hope that helps. So, one final thing, yeah, so these data ones, these are the ones that it seems that people fall down on the most. As in, they can't seem to logically arrange the information. I don't know why it's so hard. You can simply like start at what's the biggest, move to what's the smallest. If you do it in that way, you can't go too far wrong. Okay? Right, hope that helps. See you next time.